Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Okay, right. Good evening. Tell me, how is Rahu Dasha when Rahu in second house in Cancer Rashi and Moon in 11th house? That means Moon is in Aries sign. Okay, Moon is in friendly sign, so overall this Dasha can be expected as auspicious one, but the problematic portions will be like Rahu is in Cancer, so Cancer is sign of emotions, so this person will be like on emotional extremes during this Dasha. Either they can be too happy or too sad, that kind of thing. Okay, so the biggest problem they will face into like balancing these emotional extremes. Also, like the wealth wise, money can come but money can also go. Okay, money can come into their life because Rahu expands things, so second house of wealth, money can come like anything. uh, but Rahu is remains a malefic planet, so money can go also go, means they will not be able to like save that money. Okay, this is also something which they need to work on during this Rahu Mahadasha. Also, the basic representation of Rahu is illusion. So throughout this Rahu Dasha, they can be under one illusion or the other. Okay, as they come closer to Jupiter Dasha, these illusions will go away one by one. Okay, so this is what I see as the possible result of this Rahu Mahadasha for Gemini ascendant people. Also, it is 11th Lord, sorry, ninth Lord. Ninth house is the house of ninth house is the house of your higher education knowledge, so they can learn something new. They can get some new education. If they get some illness or diseases, it is better to go better to take alternate medication. Okay. Mars and Moon in 11th house Libra ascendant. Just a second. Mars and Moon in 11th house Libra ascendant means they are in Leo sign. Dignity wise, they are good, but problematic thing here is that they both are in fiery sign. Understand the problem with this Moon is that the Moon is with Mars and Leo in Leo sign. Mars is a fiery planet, Leo is a fiery sign, so there is lots of fire in this mind. They can be very aggressive. Okay, so this is where they need to work in their life, is not to be a very aggressive, not to be very dominant. As long as it is like a go-getter type of approach or being active, that is fine. But in relationship matters, especially if you are aggressive, then it can be difficult. With Moon Mars in Leo, this person can be very fiery or aggressive. Okay, so this is where the trouble can come. Hello Darja, how are you? How is Rahu in Leo Vargottama, Sun Mercury in 6th for Taurus, and Sun debilitated, Rahu in Venus Nakshatra. Rahu in Leo Vargottama, Sun Mercury in 6th for Taurus. Right. So again, in as Sun is debilitated, it is Rahu is in the 4th house. The relationship with mother may suffer a lot with this position, because Rahu in Leo, Rahu is in the 4th house. 4th lord is debilitated in the 6th house of conflicts. So that is the problem, first problem, that relationship with mother can suffer a lot. Then this what they say is like 4th house is like 4th lord in the 6th house and debilitated. It means Sun debilitated means the person will have difficulties with authority figures. Okay. Sun is debilitated, so they should not work under authority figures. They should work in their own business. Sun is authority. This Sun is authority and Libra is business. So that can show that person is getting authority through business. But if you are asking about dasha wise, so most of the results will be same. Like Rahu will keep one or the other illusion. It is very good placement for following any creative pursuits. Okay. It is very good placement for following any creative pursuits, creative business, Rahu in Leo. But when it comes to like job oriented career and all, because Ketu is also in the 10th house, so it is not good for that. Rahu in Venus Nakshatra, good for creativity, good for if they are interested in music, singing, dancing, acting, anything, even financial markets, stock market and all. Okay. Pisces ascendant, Guru and Mars in Libra 8th house, Moon Saturn in Kanya 7th house, Ketu in Sagittarius 10th house, then Sun Mercury in Leo the 6th house, Venus in Cancer. What is good business or work? Okay, so as I always say, the career consultation take a long time. It is about normally career consultation goes for about one hour or so at least. So I cannot give the whole 1 hour here. Only thing is that I can say is Guru Mars in Libra. Okay. As Jupiter rules the 1st and the 10th house, then Jupiter is sitting in the 8th house. They should be in any Jupiter related work, like knowledge sharing, guiding, counseling, teaching, that kind of work. This work will help them, and they should do as per their own business, because Ketu is in Sagittarius in the 10th house, so they will not have any great benefits from authority figures. So this should be remembered. So they should do in their own business, but the knowledge sharing kind of business. Can I give my details? You can give, sir. I will cover the question if it can be covered in 2 to 5 minutes. Okay. Sorry. Sun Mercury in 10th house Sagittarius. How will be Mercury Mahadasha? Moon in 4th house. Mercury Dasha, as I understand, this is also a Pisces ascendant chart. So Mercury rules your 4th and the 7th. Any Dasha can be fantastic if you are doing something related with that planet. Mercury represents business. Mercury rules the 7th house of business. Mercury sits into your 10th house of career. Get into a career which is business oriented, and this Dasha will be fine. Okay, that's it. So it is always the case with every planet. Whichever dasha is going on, do something related with that planet, that planetary position. Okay, and you will get better result of that dasha. If you are not doing anything related with that, then the average results will come, mediocre results will come. Doing the activities related with the planet and planetary position is important. So Mercury Dasha can be fine if you are in business setup. It can be average if you are not in business setup. That is the simplest rule. Then just a second. My mother-in-law has Mars in Leo, and two of my best friends are. Okay, great. Jupiter in second house, Libra ascendant, good for any research oriented knowledge. Jupiter is knowledge, Scorpio is research. Okay, any research oriented knowledge, occult mysticism, psychology, knowledge of like occult nature, the this death and rebirth, reincarnation, all these things, past life regression. Okay, whatever Scorpio represents, and include Jupiter there. Jupiter is knowledge, and Scorpio is your occult mysticism and research, any research oriented knowledge, and this person will gain a lot. In family matters there can be lots of instability. Second house is the house of family, and this Jupiter in Scorpio is the sign of instability. Jupiter expands things, so it can expand a person's instability in family matters. Son is debilitated with Venus. His dad always criticizes. Okay, sort of confirmation that sun debilitation is going to be difficult for dealing with authority figures. If Jupiter and Saturn have exchange, Capricorn Pisces, how should we consider Jupiter debilitation? This is like all these exchanges, the Parivartan Yoga or Neech Bhangraj Yoga or any yoga in astrology, it is more helpful when you are in your own business set of work. Okay, or they are more helpful in your professional life when you are in business setup of work. In your personal life, you will still have some issues. Okay, so this exchange is not going to help the person in relationship life. They will still have some frustration in relationship life, but when it comes to like Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in Capricorn, if they go into any business setup work, they will have benefits. Okay, out of this Jupiter Saturn, ideally they should be lawyer. Okay, Jupiter Saturn both represent law, and I didn't see the whole chart, but from this position only I can say that this person can be a good lawyer. Okay, now the thing is that even in job setup, if this person goes into job setup environment, he has to deal with other people, he has to deal with his colleagues, his bosses and all, and there he may find the difficulty. So this is where the biggest difficulty comes with any yoga. Okay, most of these yogas are all only helpful in your professional life, that too in business setup, not in job setup, and in personal life they are not helpful. Thank you, you're welcome. Thank you, you're welcome. 19 December 1975, 1:15 p.m. Jaipur. Right. What is the question, sir? Can you please tell about health? Okay, so just a second. I think it is Pisces ascendant chart, right? Just confirm. So, health wise, I can tell the rule, you can see by yourself. First house is always important. First house represents your immune system, your overall physique, and the strength of the body. So, first lord should be very strong. Okay, ideally. Okay, I understand that everyone cannot have first lord very strong, but ideally, first lord should be strong. Then so Jupiter should be strong in your chart. That will show that it is strong enough to deal with the illness and health issues, because we all have health issues. Strength of the first lord only show that person has the immune system, a strong immune system to deal with it. Then the planets in the first house, if there are any planets, even they should be in a strong position, their dignity should be strong. Then the main thing is sixth house. Okay, sixth house represents your illness and health issues. In your case, it is ruled by sun. Sun represents heart and brain related health issues, so be careful about heart and brain related health issues. If there are any planets in the sixth house, you need to be careful about health issues related with that planet. Like if Jupiter is in the sixth house, so be careful about your fat or obesity. If Venus is in the fifth house, be careful about diabetes, sugar, and all. These things you need to be careful. Then 11th house is 6th from the 6th. It represents your Bhavat Bhavam of 6th house, another house where we can look for health issues. For you, it will be ruled by Saturn through Capricorn sign. Capricorn is the sign of, Saturn is the planet of old age related diseases, old age and back, body ache, or bones related, teeth related, chronic nature of diseases. So you need to be careful about these things. Then Ghatni Karka is the planet with the sixth highest degree. So whichever planet is the planet with the sixth highest degree, you need to be careful related with that planet related health issues. Finally, it comes to dashas. It is not that all these health issues are going to come to you all at one, but depends on the dasha which you are running. Such dasha planet related health issues can come up. I have autoimmune disorder, will it improve? It depends on your overall chart. I have to see. Health consultations are always free, so anyone can apply for health consultations. I am not charging any money for health consultation, at least. So you can always apply for that, and I will be happy to help. Okay, so this is the way we can look for health consultation. Autoimmune, maybe it's Saturn related. I'm not sure if you are in Saturn dasha or not. It is Saturn related. Okay, so Saturn dasha and Saturn transits are important. Any further question? Yes, I am in Saturn Dasha, Jupiter Badka remedies. Remedy for me is only meditation. Okay. Saturn Mahadasha. So that is what I was saying, that Saturn Dasha brings autoimmune related health issues. So if it is ending in October 2021, you can expect an improvement after that. But be proactive, and proactive means be extra careful about your health issues. Don't be negligent. Take proper care, and uh, don't miss out on your medicines and all. These are simple things. uh, Jupiter Badaka remedies. I think most of the people know my views on remedies. I don't recommend, I don't follow myself any remedy. But if you feel that some remedy is going to help you, I am not stopping either. So I am just neutral in this matter. Okay. For Virgo Lagna. Right. Any further question? Rahu and Moon in Aries for Sagittarius ascendant. Jupiter in Leo. Which direction of higher studies is suitable? Jupiter in Leo, Sagittarius. Which direction means which type of higher studies? That will Rahu Moon in Aries, Jupiter in Leo. Maybe if he is interested in following any creativity, okay, creative nature of higher education. Like Leo is the sign of creativity, your creative pursuits, your media, movies, singing, dancing, all these things. So if a person interested in all these things, then these things can, whatever is that person's creative pursuits, okay, creative interest. Someone can be interested in music, someone can be interested in like singing, someone can be interested in astrology. So as per that interest, we need to like get into this higher education in this type of scenario. Everything has positive and negative, sir. Lord of sixth house with Mercury will have negative impact on Mercury. Uh, at the end of the day, negative and positive depends upon the dignity of the planet. Like in this case, which you said, that Sun is in friendly sign. Okay, Sun is in Sagittarius, it is in friendly sign. So dignity wise, it is strong. So that's why I don't think that there should be any negativity coming overall in overall results. Okay, understand it like this. There will be some problems coming as Sun rules the sixth house. So the person will find some difficulties in dealing with authority figures because Sun is sitting in the eighth house. Everything is in addition. Okay, understand one thing, that everything is in addition. A planet will give you good results also, planet can give you bad results also. There is nothing like completely good and completely bad in this world. Okay, so just try to accept both the things. Okay, even in this, like I am going through Jupiter Venus dasha. Yeah, you can say okay, it is the best dasha one can go through. Even in this dasha I had health issues, I had deaths in my family. So even the best time period can give you difficulties. Okay, don't no, there is nothing like okay, this planet is all good or this planet is all bad. Okay. Jupiter in Ashlesha Nakshatra, how it works. Ashlesha is the nakshatra of insecurities, so it can expand someone's insecurities. Okay. Uh, Plus, it can expand someone's spiritual pursuits also. Ashlesha is represented by entwined snakes, which represents our Kundalini energy. So, Jupiter in Ashlesha can bring this interest towards spirituality. They can meditate and they can try to activate their Kundalini energy. Okay, so again, even Ashlesha has good bad both. Okay, and the thing I was saying that even Ashlesha has something good to offer, something bad to offer. Something good is like the spirituality, something bad is like insecurity. Also this is interesting, and this many people may find interesting. Osho had Jupiter in Ashlesha Nakshatra in the third house of communication. Ashlesha is represented by entwined snakes. Okay, one of my friend told me this. Okay, this is not my observation. One of my friend told that if you pay attention, Ashlesha is a serpent energy. Snakes make this hissing sound. Okay, they hiss, and if you see, Osho had this way of speaking where he used to speak like this. His sound used to come. So then this was an interesting observation. Uranus Neptune conjunct in second house of in Sagittarius. What kind of situations may arise in family environment in the dasha of Jupiter? Uranus is about creating something new. Neptune is about being acceptable to everything that is happening with you. Okay, so Neptune in the second house shows that whatever happens in your family environment, in your wealth related matters, you should accept it as God's blessing. Okay, and this is what you should be focusing. Whatever, good, bad, everything you need to accept. Then Uranus is like making some new creative things in the family environment, or you can say you should have a very creative way of making your money. Okay, so that we can say from Uranus Neptune together in the second house Sagittarius. Can chanting Bij mantras reduce malefic effects? Again, I told you, I am not into remedies. Okay, I know nothing about remedies, gemstones. Okay, or I know nothing about which remedy is going to benefit you, because I tried all the remedies for about 10 years. Nothing worked for me. I am ready to accept that I was the unfortunate one. It didn't work for me. My good wishes are with you. If it works for you, please try. But I have no experience to guide people on matters of remedies. Okay, this is the thing. So I am just neutral in this matter. Someone asked on YouTube, does Venus gives death to the native when it is in the 8th house for Aries ascendant, Libra rising? Okay, Aries ascendant, Libra rising, how can it be, as Venus is acute marka? Okay, so the person is asking if Venus can bring death if it is sitting in the 8th house for Aries ascendant people. We cannot predict death in any situation. Okay, death and birth are universal decisions. Okay. uh, Even enlightenment, Osho says that no one can predict anyone's enlightenment. So even that, people ask where, during consultations people ask whether I will be liberated or spiritually free or something like that. Even that cannot be, even then that cannot be uh, predicted through astrology. So even death cannot be predicted. Only thing which we can predict is that person can go through a major change in life. Now it can be any change including death. Okay, including death, it can be any change. They can change, go through a change in their overall life, their family matters, their wealth, their appearance. Okay, like I went through many changes in my life. Okay, although I don't have that situation, but career wise, in personal life, in my appearance, with my name itself, in my profession, I have been like a story of changes. Okay, so but I didn't die so far. Okay, so this is what I am saying, that we cannot say about death, we can only say about changes. How Ketu Mahadasha in 6th house for Leo ascendant, 6th house of Leo ascendant will be difficult. You are asking how Ketu Mahadasha will be, then you are saying it is difficult. So it is already difficult. Anyways, people normally say, okay, people normally say that Ketu Dasha is difficult for them to go through, and it was the most difficult time period they have gone through. Only reason is that Ketu's basic nature is against basic human nature. We live our life to hold on to the things, collect things, hold on to the people. Okay, how I can capture someone or something. This is our human nature. Okay, how to get something. And Ketu is all about separation. Ketu is all about letting go. Okay, and as I said, every dasha can be beneficial if you are doing something related with that planet. Okay, so in Ketu dasha, which represents letting go, which represents separation, spirituality, occult, mysticism, research, in that dasha you are trying to get anything, you are trying to be ambitious. Okay, you are trying to achieve something, then it is going to be very painful dasha, because you are trying to go against the energy of Ketu, and in the end Ketu will win, you will not win. Okay, so best way to go through Ketu dasha is to spend time in spirituality, spend time in research, occult, mysticism, spirituality, meditation, all these things. Don't try to be ambitious. Never make any ambitious plan in Ketu dasha. Never make any major decisions in Ketu dasha. Never make any major investment in Ketu dasha. Okay, at least not in your name. You can make investment in some other person's name. Okay, so in your family who is going through better dasha. Okay, so this is the main thing. Ketu dasha will be difficult if the person is trying to be ambitious. He is trying to achieve something, that I should have this home or that property, or I should invest in the stock market, I should gain there. Nothing. It is not for all those purpose. Ketu dasha is for spirituality. It is for meditation. It is for letting go of the thing. It is for realizing that nothing is going to stay with you forever. Every dasha is coming with some lesson in your life. Ketu's dasha is lesson is that nothing is going to stay with you forever. People will come into your life, people will go from your life. You will come into other people's life, you will go from their life. Okay, so Ketu dasha is there here to teach you everything. It will bring you all the circumstances where you have to let go of something or someone. If you are trying to resist that, it is going to be a painful dasha. If you are just aligned with letting go, if you are just thinking that okay, whomsoever is supposed to stay with me will stay with me, and whomsoever is supposed to leave me will leave me anyways, then you can sail through. Then it will be a good dasha. Then you will just sail through. Good again doesn't mean that you will achieve anything. Okay, I am just saying that you will be able to sail through. This is the significance of Ketu dasha. If you just sail through this dasha, it is good enough. Okay, Deepak sir, so many planets, exchange of Saturn Sun, what business will give success? Sir, all these things take a long analysis. I can tell if you can analyze by yourself the steps to be followed, like this ascendant lord. First of all, see the planet, see the ascendant and ascendant lord position, planets in ascendant. See the ascendant nakshatra and ascendant nakshatra lord position. See the second house and second house lord position. See the 11th house and 11th house lord position. See the 10th house and 10th lord position. See Rahu's position. See Bhrigu Bindu position. Atmakarka, Amatyakarka, Mahadasha. These are 10 steps which we should follow to understand someone's path, career path in life. Okay. So I cannot cover all these steps here because it will take at least half an hour, 1 hour time period. I cannot give everything here. Please take proper consultation. Again, I am not saying that take from me, take from anywhere. Wherever you feel that this person can help me best way, take from that person. But when it comes to such important decisions of life, that what business you should be doing, take a proper consultation. One comment here and there is not going to help you. Okay, so this is what I wanted to convey, and I am conveying the same thing almost in every session. How is your Jupiter dasha, sir? Please explain some significant event happening to you. I left my job and come here in astrology. I was working with Deloitte. Okay, and I resigned from that job, and this is the thing I am telling. Okay, now my Jupiter dasha, this can be a best example, okay, for all of you, and what I am again and again repeating. My Jupiter dasha started in 2011. Okay, now it is 10 years. For first 4 years I was working in corporate world. Okay, my Jupiter is in 9th house, and corporate world is like job setup environment, that is 10th house. My dasha is of 9th house. I am doing work related with 10th house. Obviously there has to be frustration, and that frustration is only an indication that you are doing something wrong. So that is where like when I resigned and I started this astrological counseling work, now I'm dealing with 9th house energy. Now I'm dealing with Jupiter in 9th house Cancer. I'm sharing my knowledge, I'm guiding people, counseling people. So I'm aligned with my chart now. Now I'm doing what my chart, my dasha is indicating me to do. So after that, first 4 years were very frustrating, because career was unstable, because things were not working out, because I was not doing anything related with my dasha. Once I got into this dasha, the things started working out. Okay, so this is what I am trying to say again and again, that every dasha can give you best of the result. Okay, even Saturn and Ketu can give you best of the result, but you have to do something related with that Saturn or Ketu. Ketu's position, Saturn position, or any planet's position, you have to do something related with that. If you are not even utilizing that position, if you are not utilizing that planetary position, then you cannot complain that dasha didn't give you good results. Suppose someone is going through Venus dasha, his Venus is in the 7th house Libra, Aries ascendant. Obviously this person should be in the business setup. Okay, in this with this dasha he is trying to do a job setup work. Obviously he will feel frustrated, he will he will curse his Venus dasha. Oh, I am going through Venus dasha, I am not getting any money and all. How you can get money if you are not utilizing your Venus position? So this is what I am trying to convey to the people from times immemorial now. So please try to understand that every planet is good, every planet can give you good results. You just need to utilize that planet's energy. How to find the purpose of life through a chart? We can say ascendant lord position. Then Atmakarka, Amatyakarka, Rahu is also important planet for that, and your dasha, that will indicate that when you can realize that life path, okay, or life purpose. D9 chart is also important. In D9 chart you can see the ascendant and ascendant lord, and ninth house and ninth lord. If there is any planet in ascendant and ninth house, those are also important. To let go during Ketu dasha, does it mean not much progress in career? Yes. To let go means whatever comes, accept it. If success come, accept it. If failure come, accept it. If you are continuing in job, accept it. If you are getting fired from job, accept it. That is letting go. Letting go means letting go. Let him run the show, because anyways he is running the show. We are just puppets. Okay, that is letting go. Would you mind explaining? No, I won't mind. How to assess the strength of Vipreet Raj Yoga? Thank you. Okay. So Vipreet Raj Yoga. Vipreet Raj Yoga is when 6th house, 8th house and 12th house lords are in exchange with each other. Okay. They are exchanging energy with each other. Normally they say that okay, if 6th house lord is in the 8th house, 8th house lord is in the 12th house, then it causes Vipreet Raj Yoga. It causes then also. But even if 6th lord and 8th lord are conjunct in the 4th house, even if 6th lord and 12th lord are aspecting each other, that is also Vipreet Raj Yoga. Okay, maybe the intensity may be low, but it is still Vipreet Raj Yoga. There has to be some energy exchange between 6th house lord, 8th house lord and the 12th house lord. Now the generic definition is that Vipreet Raj Yoga means the planet which was supposed to give you trouble, now it will give you benefits. This is and this is the generic definition of this Vipreet Raj Yoga. But everything is in addition. Okay, everything is in addition. Vipreet Raj Yoga can give you benefits, but through the difficulties of these houses. Okay, person would still have to go through the difficulties, then he will get the benefits. Okay, understand? Like if I give example, 6th house is your illnesses, 8th house is your insurance. Okay, 6th lord in the 8th house or 8th lord in the 6th house in good dignity will show that person will have some illnesses, and eventually he will get some benefits from insurance. After he recovers from health, insurance company will repay his money. Okay, this is Vipreet Raj Yoga. You eventually got some benefit through some illnesses. Okay, through some difficulties in life. Another example is 6th house is also your disputes or litigation, or even divorces, and 8th house is marriage benefits. 8th house is other people wealth also. It shows that a person can get into some conflicts, some litigation, and he can gain out of that litigation. After the litigation is over, he will have some sort of benefits out of that litigation, maybe alimony, maybe compensation. So the main thing is that the person will still have some difficulties of 6th house, 8th house, 12th house, but he will gain out of it if Viprit Raj Yoga is there. Another important thing is the dignity. If let's say if it is a Pisces ascendant chart, sun rules the 6th house and sits into the 8th house, then it is going debilitated. It is not a strong Viparit Raj Yoga. This here the benefits may not come that much, okay, because sun is getting debilitated. But if 6th Lord Sun also sits into the 6th house, then it is an own sign. This shows a strong Viparit Raj Yoga. The dignity matters. At the end of the day, dignity. Okay. At the end of the day, where the planet is sitting, the exaltation, debilitation, own sign, this dignity is 90% of prediction. Okay. Rarely it happens that someone has a planet in good dignity and he doesn't get better results. That is because that planet is that person is not doing anything related with that planet, the same thing which I told you. So this is important, that even if Viparit Raj Yoga is happening but planet is not in good dignity, we cannot expect much of benefits out of those difficulties. But if planet is in good dignity, then person can get good benefits. Which one is more important, planet in house or planet in sign? Planet in sign. Dignity is decided by the sign. Sign molds the house, if I say so. Okay. House energy will be there. Okay. House is where things are happening. Sign is how things are happening. Sign is what things are happening. Okay. Fourth house is understand through this example. Leo sign falling into the fourth house. Fourth house is your home, private offices, and Leo is the sign of authority. So this person is gaining authority from home or private office. Okay. So this Leo sign or zodiac sign is more important, as it molds that house as per its nature. In your discussion, sometimes you say that malefic planet will give bad personal results but good career results. How do we know which area of life will get difficult versus good results from that planet? Okay. Like let's take the example of Saturn in the ninth house. Okay, ninth house doesn't represent your main relations, right? But ninth house still represents your teachers. Okay, if someone has Saturn in the ninth house, they can have difficulties with teachers. Okay, but they can still focus very well on their higher education. They can focus on from themselves. They may not get good teachers, but they may be okay, fine, I don't need good teachers, I can study on my own. So this is where the Jiva Karka, Ajiva Karka, living significances and non-living significances give result, where person can get good results of non-living significances, but the results of living significances will be difficult to attain, because living significances result depend upon the other person also. He will behave as per his chart, you will behave as per your chart, and if things are not aligned, there will be a friction. So this is the main thing. Like Saturn in the 10th house, or let's say Ketu in the 10th house. Let's say Ketu is in the 10th house in Scorpio sign. This person can be excellent in research oriented work, non-living significances, research oriented work. this person can be excellent one, but when it comes to dealing with the father or bosses at work or any authority figure, even government officers, this person can have lots of difficulties. So when you are dealing with other person, other living person, whomsoever he may be, it may be your servant also, okay, you will find some difficulties when malefic planets are involved. And if you are dealing with non-living significances of any house, then you can find those things working well, because of the same reason, living significance, the other person has his own chart. Okay, so that is the thing. Then how can we get rid of debilitated planets effect through our work? Through our evolution level, by utilizing their energy in a better way. Okay, so let's take the example of Sun in Libra. Okay, Sun in Libra, it is debilitated. Now first of all, this person needs to realize that he will have difficulties with authority figures. Okay, if he is adamant to work in job setup environment, then we cannot expect any improvement. We need to realize the limitations. Okay, what we can expect, what we cannot expect when the situation is like this. So Sun in Libra, as I said, any planet can give you good results. Okay, if you are doing something related with that planet's energy. Sun is career, authority, recognition. Libra is the sign of business. So this person should get into his own business, then he will get the best of the authority and recognition. That is the simple. He should never try to work under others, not even in partnership business. He should never be dealing with the people in authority position. Okay, so this is where he can utilize the energy of the same debilitated planet for his favor. But for this, higher evolution level is needed. It has been 6-7 years for me to tell people to start their business, and very rarely someone has listened. Okay, so then that is the thing. Some people interpret Navamsha as a chart that tells us the true strength of a planet in the chart, like exalted in D1, D2. Do you agree with this interpretation? No, I don't. Because even the strength of your D9 chart planet is coming out of your D1 chart planet. The basic reason I give in favor of D1 chart is that you cannot even have D9 chart if you don't have D1 chart. D1 is the mother of all charts. Okay, so obviously if you don't have a D1 chart, you cannot even make D9 chart. How can you even say that okay, D9 will show the true strength? From where D9 is coming? From D1 only. Okay, so even the dignity and strength of planets in D9 is decided by D1 only. So this is why I don't follow that logic. All the logics they have given in favor of D9 chart are very childish one. Okay, it gets activated after 35 years of age. What if the person dies at 20 years of age? It gets activated, it is start of your later life. How you are going to know that today is my initial life has ended, today my later life is starting? Okay, they say that your D9 chart will get activated after marriage. What if the person never marries? What if he marries 5 times? How many times D9 will get activated? So all those are very childish logics they have given. So far no one could justify those logics to me. If anyone has better way, let me know. I am open for the discussion, but D1 remains the mother of all charts. You cannot have any chart if you don't have a D1 chart. Okay, Venus in Virgo debilitated, what should be the guidelines? Okay, now in career matters, first of all. Okay. Venus is finance, wealth. Virgo is the sign of analysis and details. Second house is house of wealth. This person can be very good with financial nature of work. Venus in Virgo are normally seen in the charts of chartered accountants or people who are working in stock market, financial markets, wealth managers, bankers. Okay, so any work related with this nature can help this person a great deal. If Venus is in Hasta Nakshatra, they can also be healers, doctors. Okay, so in career matters, this thing. Okay, now the main trouble will come in the relationship matters when Venus is debilitated. Now understand, Venus's relationship, Virgo is the sign of analysis and perfection. So he needs to realize that there is no perfect relationship. There is no point in being analytical and critical towards his partner and his spouse. Okay, he should accept the person as is. Okay, this realization should come to the person. Then only we can expect this person will utilize the energy of Venus in Virgo in a positive way. Okay, but if he is into this analysis, okay, you did this, you didn't do this, nitpicking and all, nitpicking the faults of the other person, then sooner or later they will have difficulties in their relationship. Okay, so this is where they need to realize with Venus in Virgo, then that it can be utilized only when person accepts the other person as is. Whatever he has got, he should accept that it was my destiny to get this type of partner. Then only I can in a way I only like this person, right? I agreed for the marriage with this person. Okay, then what is the problem now? Okay, so this is the thing they need to realize and accept, and then they can utilize this Venus in Virgo position in a better way. Their relationship is more on practical aspect of life, Virgo is also the sign of practicality. They should have their relationship on practical aspect of life, not in imaginative and impractical aspect of life. Any question? Does Mahadasha or transit have more effect? They all have impact. Okay, as I always say, everything is in addition. Mahadasha sets the stage, transits bring the event. Okay, whenever any event is happening, it is happening on three grounds. Okay, first is chart itself, then the dasha, and then the transit. Okay, let's take a simple example. If someone is coming to me for relationship timing consultation, that when I can expect a relationship happening in my life, fine. First of all, I should look at the possibility of relationship in that person's chart. That person's chart should indicate towards there is a possibility. Okay, there is a promise in the chart that this person can be in relationship, because there are many charts where person should not even think about getting into a relationship or marriage. Okay, there are many charts where person should delay their marriage for at least 30, 35 or even 40s. So this thing I should check first of all, that okay, there is a promise. Suppose I find there is no promise in the chart for relationship, the whole analysis stops there only. then there is no need to see the dasha and transits. Dashas will come, they will give another results of the seventh house, they will give other results of Venus, they will not give results of relationship if the possibility is not there. Then it is like so first of all I should see the possibility, then look at the dasha which is activating those houses and planets which are bringing that possibility into practice, where we can expect, okay, now this person is going through Jupiter dasha, or this person is going through seventh lord dasha, now we can expect this person into relationship. But this dasha is, suppose it is 2 years long period. Now with transit we make it more precise, that okay, within these 2 years this person will have transit of Jupiter in the fifth house. Maybe he may start dating someone, or he may start knowing someone. Okay, so that is the result. This is what I am trying to say, is that first the chart, then the dasha, then the transit. Okay, so this is where we can relate. Plus there was another thing which I was telling. Anyways, I forgot it. Okay, next time. Venus, Jupiter, Saturn in the second house, Leo ascendant. What is the conclusion? Difficult for relationship, difficult for family life, but can be very good with any financial nature of work. Venus, Jupiter together in Virgo, and they can be very very good with numbers. If they are interested in stock exchange, then it is good thing. Otherwise also, like for any financial nature of work, it is good position. What are the most basic combination for medical career in D1? I cannot say combination, but I can say what things we can see. First house is always important. First house, first lord position. In case first lord is in the sixth house is the main house of health issues. What I mean to say, in case there is any energy exchange between first house and the sixth house, this gives the primary indication that this person can be in medical side, healthcare side of work. 10th lord in the sixth house, that is also an indication that person's career is coming into the sixth house, or healing and healthcare. Sixth lord in the 10th house, similar thing. The Saturn and Moon, they should be either Atmakarka or Amatyakarka. They both represent healing and healthcare. So their positions are also important. Cancer as ascendant is always important. Cancer is the sign of nourishing people, taking care of people. So Cancer sign, especially if it is ascendant, that person will be involved in some sort of healing and healthcare related work. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, I think we are done. It is more than an hour. Thank you. Thanks for all questions. Happy to be here and sharing knowledge. Okay. And as I always say, if you have really have some concern going on in your life, please take proper consultations, that will be more helpful. One comment here and there, if you comment, I reply for even in 1 minute time period is not enough to resolve any serious issue. Again, I don't say that I take consultation from me, nothing. Don't take any consultation from me, please. Take from anyone whomsoever you like, whomsoever you think that this person can help me better, take from that person. But have a proper consultation. Even for now, this is one thing I can share, that even like when I was planning to leave my job and get into this business of astrology counseling, even I took a proper consultation. Okay, and then I made the decision. So just take a proper consult. I took 3-4 consultations for confirming that things are right. Okay, so this is what I am trying to say, that if you have a really concern going on, please take proper consultation. No need to take from me, no necessity to take from me. Okay, I am learning astrology, your advice. Yo, thank you, take care, all the best.